So this is what happens when you want your Willys, but you want it Mike's way. All right, today we're covering this kick-ass little Willys wagon we're building for Tim. He owns Jersey Mike's subs here in town. So this poor thing started life as a lifted, kind of mangled together, well, project. It was really bad. They had shoehorned a 383 Mopar into the hood and did a very poor job at that. The firewall was clearance for the ball peen hammer, we're pretty sure. The front bumper was welded on to the body. Must have stuck out about 2.5 feet. Had this giant cable winch on there, PTO driven, but yet none of the PTO parts were on the vehicle, so it was just kind of a dead weight. It had a bunch of transmission issues. Everything leaked. Didn't drive. Brakes didn't work. It was just basically a complete basket case when we got it. Originally, we were supposed to just get it running and driving, but we started seeing so many problems on so many things with this project that I actually suggested he takes it home and finds out what he wants to do with it. Instead, he challenged me. He asked me, well, what would you do with it? Well, I think we're almost there. So on this here, at the moment, we got it in bare metal. We've done a lot of work on this, kind of starting at the front, working our way back here. We're fitting a custom set of headlights and fog lights in here. We're going to be building a gravel pan soon. We had to rework the grill. It was actually broken in about probably 4 or 5 different spots, actually. We fit a new 4-row aluminum radiator on here. What we're going to end up doing with this radiator is relocating the hoses. That way they work with the LS3 we have in here, which is running the CVF Racing belt drive system as well, and a set of hooker headers. In the engine bay, we've cleaned up basically everything. We still got a couple things to go through, but we've added a bunch of hood braces on the bottom of the hood because they were really twisty. And wheel wells, we've added a bunch of pieces of that. You can actually see the bead rolls and stuff in the wheel wells in the engine bay. Firewall too. And what if you notice, you'll start seeing the 3-lined pattern. So if you look at the quarter panel and the door and the cowl panel there, you see the 3 lines that are going to run all the way down the side. We decided to carry that into the engine bay and kind of liven it up a little bit. Even the dashboard has it as well. So for the chassis on this, we had to stick with the stock Willys chassis. Nobody makes one in the aftermarket right yet. So with the chassis, we boxed what we had, narrowed the rear, and we were able to find at least some suspension components. So we have an independent front end on this, 4-link rear with Panhard bar, and coilovers all around. Okay, for brakes, we're running Wilwood 4-piston brakes. We really love those around here. They really work well. Running Wilwood master cylinder, 7-inch brake booster. We also decided to top that off with some Detroit steel wheels. These are their Ambassador series. We wrapped them in some Pirellis, and we actually decided to stick with the stock Willys hubcap. We wanted to kind of keep the vintage appeal besides just looking at it. So that's why we stuck with the Willys cap, was it adds a little bit more retro to it. Okay, moving back on the project here, kind of going towards the rear, we just kind of refinished the door. It was actually in pretty good shape. Now the lower cowl section we have patched in right now, we still got a finish weld, but these never had any kind of lines or anything. Again, we wanted to continue with this line pattern all the way throughout, even down the quarter, so we added it, just kind of add a little more uniqueness to the vehicle itself. So the quarter panel, Nate has painstakingly built this by hand. We've used a combination of probably 7 or 8 different types of machines, lots of hand labor to try to get the step just as deep as the one above it. Not only depth, but the same contour as well. That's really hard to accomplish. So while adding to this, because we didn't want to add too much, the line right here at the bottom on this only went from here to here, just kind of stopped, and it looked kind of plain. So this time we went ahead and continued that all the way across as well, and we did the same thing on the rear. So behind the wheel, we actually kind of wrapped it around, and it kind of fades into nothing here on the rear. On the wheel well, these were actually just wheel well welded to the outside of the quarter panel on a lot of these. So we actually had to engineer a whole new wheel well inside that actually attaches to the wheel well lip rather than just actually the skin itself. This will allow us to be able to do lots of body work in this area, continue our hammer methods, bring this up after we get it welded so we can get it all fit the way we want. All right, inside, the metalwork theme continues. Not only did we have to fix all of this because it was basically rotten out, we wanted to do more of a custom feel to it. So the dashboard used to have 2 separate glove boxes. We filled in both. And you see we're getting ready to add the lines in here on the dashboard as well. We have Dakota digital gauges. This is an RTX series, These are actually originally built for a 49 to a 50 passenger car. They actually look really well at home in here. Carrying down, we have the Dakota Digital control unit, which will operate the vintage air, but we also use Resto Mod Air for the actual vents. We wanted to do this for the satin black feel to go against the interior components we're going to have next. We also have a low-car shifter here that's controlling our 6L80E transmission, which backs behind that LS3, so we'll have good cruising speeds, but still have power when we want it to. So the floors, we didn't want something boring, but we also didn't want to kind of over-glorify a floor, if you will. So we got some pretty cool little stuff here, a little W we rolled in. Kind of looks almost like it did stock. Same with the beads here in the floor. So this does a couple things. It adds strength, but it also looks good at the same time. These floors will be coated up top, but finished on the bottom. Okay, we're stuffing a set of bucket seats in here, so we wanted to not only make everybody fit well, but Tim's a pretty tall dude. So we built some custom seat brackets. We actually structured the floor underneath to hold these very well, so they're pretty built into the car. And they recline and everything for access for passengers in the rear. All right, so we also built a custom set of wheel wells inside as well. And again, those attached to the quarter panel through custom means as well. These wheel wells we wanted to build kind of short but high enough that when we put the back seat in, there's still a good area for an armrest that will be finished in the interior of it. All right, for the rear to kind of finish up this kind of blank section, we got a couple things going on. First, we have a custom built fuel tank. So what we did here was we kind of made a mock-up pattern out of sheet metal, fit it in, kind of made sure it would go where we wanted. We actually have some indentations where the fuel lines will go. That way we can take care of our routing, designed into the tank, as well as the sending unit locations. We don't have the filler neck on here yet because we're still kind of fitting it in and deciding where that should go. And part of that is actually because we're doing a wood floor just in the back section of this. So probably just from the seat back to the tailgate, we'll have wood floor. We're thinking just doing a trap door for the fuel filler. Something simple, but still looks finished with the wood. All right, so continuing the metal work, we've got the passenger side pretty much dialed in. Now we're over on the driver's side. We're not welding that side in yet completely. We've got it just clamped into place in case we got to move or tweak or any of that kind of stuff. So now we're starting in on this side. Same idea. Lots of power hammer work, lots of bead roller work, lots of hand tuning. Take note of the wheel well shape as well. So they never came with it like that. And the whole goal behind this was we wanted to match how the front was. That same kind of just rigid line, we wanted to stick with that. So this side, we still have to add the beads at the bottom, which we've made, but you have to build the insert on them. And then we've got to finish up the line on the bottom as well. That's all the way across. There's a lot more metal work coming on this soon. We want to show it to you, so stick with us. Just hit subscribe, like, follow us on Instagram, YouTube. Hit us up. We need a little extra light over here, guys, to shine it that way. Jesus. That'll get you scared. We're fixing cars, watch. Just every now and then. How's that? To show my beautifully smiling face? I mean, luckily I can't see you because it's so fucking bright now, but that's good. Get out of the picture, Nate. All right, guys. You're not that cute. HR.